Good morning, everyone. We're going to discuss this week the types of speech acts. But before that, let us have first a short recap. Last time we discussed the types of speech style. We also discussed the difference between the speech context and speech style. When we say speech context, it is the circumstances or situation. And when we say speech style, this is the way on how you communicate. This is the style. Now, there are 5 types of speech style: the intimate, the casual, the consultative, formal, and frozen. What do we mean by intimate? When we say intimate, this is a private language commonly shared within family and close friends, okay? And there are 2 features of intimate style: the extraction and jargon. When you say extraction, you extract or the speaker extracts a minimum pattern from some conceivable casual sentence. Like, instead of saying, I will go there, it could be, I'll go there. And in jargon, it is defined by any professional, technical, and specialized language. Example, by profession, the doctors, they have own way of writing in order to communicate with the for doctors or the pharmacists. And we also have different indigenous groups who are using dialect. And there are also times that we use this intimate style in the family members, like calling your boyfriend or girlfriend or your husband and wife honey, babe, sweetie, your sister as sissy, your brother as bro, right? Next is casual style. This is almost similar to the intimate style. But this casual style, this is used among friends and co-workers when an informal atmosphere is appropriated. And these are such as outside the classroom where students have a chat. And in addition, there is no absence or there is an absence of background information. Like, there are 2 devices of casual style, the ellipsis and slang. And ellipsis, there are unstressed words in a sentence that can be omitted, particularly at the beginning, like saying, I would like to thank you. You can say, thanks. Like, I was thinking about you today. Huh? It indicates the passage of time. And in slang, this is defined as a very informal vocabulary or phraseology that would be out of place in a formal setting. Example, instead of saying girl as a formal language, you can say chick. Huh? Hi, chicks. And instead of saying car or vehicle, you can say ride. Right? Instead of saying broken, my brother is broken, you might say he's busted. And there are also this example. Instead of saying but, like, I want to go there, but you can say a bear, right? And next type of speech style is consultative style. This is a semi-formal communication, like negotiating with strangers or colleagues, small group discussion, student to the teacher to student communication, doctor to patient, expert to apprentice. Next is formal style. When we say formal style, there is least amount of shared background, right? And the communication style is largely one way with little or no feedback from the audience, like seminars, symposia, where there is a speaker in front of an audience. Next, lastly, frozen style. This has the characteristics of poetry and liturgy. Okay, this style is intended to be remembered and used in every formal setting, such as in a palace, church rituals, what else? Speech for state ceremony, and some other occasion. Now, those are the types of speech styles. Expectation. After going through this module, you are expected to explain that a shift in speech context, speech style, speech act, and communicative strategy. Types of speech act. What are the types of speech act? According to John L. Austin in 1962, espoused the speech act theory, and this was developed by John Searle in 1969. Austin divided the speech acts into locution, or the actual utterance, how you pronounce, how you utter. Next, elocution, or the real intended meaning. There is a force, okay? And lastly, the perlocution, or the actual effect or response. Again, locutionary speech act, elocutionary speech act, and perlocutionary speech act. First, we will discuss about locutionary speech act, the first type of speech act. This is what we call saying something. This act happens with the utterance of a sound, a word, or even a phrase as a natural unit of speech. But there is always a meaning, okay? This is an act of producing sound, but have a meaning. What is required for the utterance to be locutionary act is that it has sense. Okay? There is a meaning, there is a sense. And most importantly, for communication to take place, has the same meaning to both the speaker and the listener. Okay? If the listener don't understand the message, therefore, that is not a locutionary speech act. The speaker and the listener should both understand the meaning. Okay? In fact, the utterance gives rise to shared meaning when it is adjusted by the speaker or the listener. Even though the utterance might be a sound, a word, a phrase, the utterance follows the rules of language. In sound or word, ah, oh my, fire, there is a meaning. Even though that is a short word, short phrase, or just a sound, there is a meaning. Do you understand? Examples of locutionary acts. The, when a favorite expression of TV cartoon character, Homer Simpson. Next, what? It means when someone is surprised, or someone is asking. It's a bird. When people see Superman in the sky. Those are the example of locutionary act. Here, J.R. Searle defines locutionary act as propositional act, which is the act of expressing a proposition. This is also referring expression like noun phrase, verb phrase, or a predicting expression. A propositional act can either be expressed directly or via implication, like asking or answering a question, giving some information or warning, announcing or pronouncing a sentence, making an appointment, appeal, a criticism, making identification or giving description. Example of this giving information. The baby is crying. The sky is blue. Those are the simple examples of locutionary acts. These are the sounds, a phrase, a word, or a sentence that has a sense. Okay? You cannot say that if you're just producing a sound like blah 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 blah, there is no meaning. That is not a locutionary act. Ah, take note that locutionary act is just producing sound that have meaning. Here, as what I said, asking or answering a question. Who is like asking, who are you? I am Miss Anna. Giving some information, assurance or warning, like the baby is crying. Pronouncing or pronouncing a verdict or an intention, pronouncing a sentence, making an appointment, an appeal or criticism, making an identification, and giving a description. A locutionary act is the basic act of speaking, which is self-consists of three related sub-acts. So there are three. First, phonic act of producing an utterance. Inscription. In phonic act, this is just a producing a sound, concerned with physical act of producing a certain sequence of vocal sounds and written symbols. The word itself, phonic, it is about sound, like what? Huh? Those are examples of phonic act. Next, a phatic act of composing a particular linguistic expression in a particular language. That is phatic act. This is constructing a well-formed string of sounds and symbols in words, okay? Phrase, sentence, or discourse in a particular language. It is phatic act. Next is rhetoric act. Rhetoric act is contextualizing the utterance inscription, like assigning references and disambiguation the utterance inscription. So those are the three sub-acts. Take note of that. When we say phonic, that is the sound, okay, producing an utterance. Phatic, that is composing a particular linguistic expression. Rhetoric act, contextualizing the utterance. Second type of speech act is elocutionary. This is saying something, we do something. There is a force. Take note of that. It expresses attitude with a certain function or force, is what I said. In an elocutionary speech act, it is not just saying something itself, but the act of saying something with the intention. Intention of stating an opinion, confirming or denying something, making a prediction, a promise or a request, issuing an order or a decision, or giving advice or permission. This speech act uses elocutionary force of a statement, a confirmation, denial, a prediction, a promise, a request, and more. We have here examples. There's too much work in this subject. It is an opinion. I'll do my homework later. That is a promise. Go do your homework. That is an order. So those are elocutionary acts, which gives forces, okay? There are classification of elocutionary acts according to J.R. Searle. Representative, directives, commissives, declarations, and expressives. First, let's discuss representative. When we say representative, these are the speech acts that commit a speaker to the truth of the expressed proposition, like reciting a creed to assert the speaker's belief, okay? You are encouraging or persuading your audience. Okay? That is representative. Next, directives. These are speech acts that are to cause the hearer to the particular action, like request, commands or advice. Example, please keep quiet. The session is going on. You are giving a request. Another example of directives. Kindly proceed to the next window for your payment. In a counter that is giving a command to your customer. Next, you are advised to consult Dr. Tan for the second opinion. It might be giving advice from a friend, from a nurse. Those are examples of directives. You are requesting, commanding, or giving advice. Next, commissives. When you say commissives, these are speech acts that commit a speaker to some future action like promises and oaths. Example, here, I promise to tell the truth, nothing but the whole truth, so help me God. That is a promise. Another example, I'll be there in an hour. That is also a promise. You are certain to go there after an hour. Next, declaration. These are speech acts that change the reality in accordance with the proposition of the declaration, like baptism, pronouncing someone as guilty, or pronouncing couple as husband and wife. You are just declaring. Like here, an example, I sentence you with a reclusion perpetua. That is a declaration. I pronounce you as husband and wife. Another, I baptize you in the name of the, and so on and so forth. That is declaration. Next is expressive. From the word itself, to express. Okay? These are speech acts that express the speaker's attitudes and emotions towards the proposition, like congratulations, excuses, and thanks. Example, congratulations, you are moving to the next level. You are congratulating someone. Next, I am sorry, I can't attend your party tonight. That is expressive. Okay? Next, well, thanks. That was a good compliment. You are expressing your emotions and attitudes. Last speech act is perlocutionary speech act. This is saying something and not in saying something. Why can we say so? This is seen when a particular effect is sought from either the speaker, the listener, or both. The response may not necessarily be physical or verbal and is elicited by inspiring or insulting, persuading, convincing, or deterring, or scaring. Take note, it is a state of mind, okay? Brought about by or as a consequence or saying something. The aim of perlocutionary act is to change feelings, thoughts, and actions. Here, according to Martinez in 1984, a perlocutionary act is performed by saying something and not in saying something. Persuading, angering, inciting, comforting, and inspiring are often perlocutionary acts, in contrast with locutionary and illocutionary acts, which are governed by conventions. Perlocutionary act is not conventional but natural acts. Okay? A perlocutionary act is the consequent effect on the hearer, which the speaker intends should follow from the utterance. Okay? Examples. I was born a Filipino. I will live a Filipino. I will die a Filipino. That is inspiring. That could change the state of mind of the hearer. Next is It is a bleak job situation that forces Filipino to find jobs overseas. You are persuading your hearer. And lastly, texting while driving kills you, your loved ones, and other people you are dithering. Another examples here, consider a negotiation with a hostage taker under siege. The police negotiator says, if you release the children, we'll allow the press to publish your demands. In making the utterance, she had offered a deal that is illusionary when um, when someone offered a deal, okay, that is illusionary act. Suppose the hostage taker accepts the deal, and as a consequence, that is a consequence, he releases the children. In that case, we can say that by making the utterance, the negotiator brought about the release of the children, or in the more technical terms, that is was a perlocutionary effect of the utterance. That is according to Nicholas Allott, Key Terms in Semantics, Continuum 2011. Okay, another example is if somebody shouts fire, okay, the effect of that is it causes people to exit the building already, which they believe to be on fire because they hear the word fire. There is already a performance, okay? There is already an effect to the listener. That is perlocutionary act, okay, of convincing other people to exit the building. When you say the word, or if you shout the word fire. Another example, if a jury for a person declares guilty in a courtroom, which an accused person sits, illocutionary act of declaring a person guilty of an accused of a crime has been undertaken. The perlocutionary act related that illocution is that in reasonable circumstances, the accused person would be convinced that they were to be led from the courtroom into the jail cell. Perlocutionary acts are acts intrinsically related to the illocutionary act, which precedes them, but discrete and able to be differentiated from illocutionary act. That is an example from by Catherine Dolber, Speaking Back, the Free Speech versus Hate Speech Debate, John Benjamin's in 2022. Take note, when you say perlocutionary acts, okay, I'll give you the summary of these three. Okay, a speaker utters sentences with a meaning. Okay, when the speaker utters a sentence with a meaning that is locutionary act, and with a particular force that is illocutionary act. The speaker utters that sentence with a particular force to achieve a certain effect. Okay. If there is already a certain effect to the hearer, that is a perlocutionary act. Okay. To sum it up, the speech acts are useful in drafting the speech types of speech styles or its combinations. These speech styles are used in a specific speech context or situation, which are based on the speech purpose in the number of participants. And we discussed three types of speech acts: the locutionary, illocutionary, and perlocutionary. When we say locutionary, that is producing sound with meaning. Illocutionary, that is an attitude with a certain function or force, or also called as saying something within something. Unlike illocutionary, just we say something. And then perlocutionary, that is saying something and not in saying something, because there is an effect. A state of mind, that is a state of mind brought about or brought by or as a consequence, and consequence or saying something. This will be the last topic that we have before the examination. So you have to take your time in reviewing from week 8 to week 13. You can check our learning module, our discussion, and all the materials in the Google Classroom. Our exam will be will be 50 items, 2 points each, with a total of 100 points. You have to review and as soon as possible accomplish all the tasks given in the Google Classroom. Do it as soon as possible. And I hope before we take the exam, you have to finish with all, so that after the examination, we can enjoy our holidays. And that's all for now. I hope you understand our lesson, which is types of speech. Again, good day and keep safe always. Bye.